It's now time to bring you a feature on the show today as the Central Bank of Nigeria in the next 24 hours will resume this month's Monetary Policy Committee meeting. Now, the two-day meeting was rescheduled for tomorrow and then Friday, and the meeting was earlier fixed for Monday, the September 20th, and then Tuesday, September the 21st. Now, the last Monetary Policy Committee meeting was held in July, and at the end of the meeting, the committee retained the monetary policy rate, which is the benchmark interest rate at 11.5%. The team also left other parameters unchanged, with the cash reserve requirement left at 27.5%, liquidity ratio was kept at 30%, and the asymmetric corridor at plus 100 minus 700 basis points. The CBN governor stated that, well, this is the best move to keep the economy at float. Now, Governor Godwin Emefiele also announced that the suspension of the sale of foreign exchange to bureau de change operators in the last meeting. Now, this shock policy has continued to affect the value of the naira at various segments of the market, especially the parallel market, where the local currency has sunk to as low as 540 to 545 naira per dollar. And as part of the agenda for this month's meeting, we'll also see the team discuss monetary policy issues, which are basically to control inflation, maintain a healthy balance of payment position in order to safeguard the external value of the national currency and also promote an adequate and sustainable level of economic growth and development. And now, joining me to discuss this and much more virtually, I have Olusegun Elemo, Public Finance and Policy Analyst. Good to have you on the Breakfast Show, Olusegun Elemo.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Now, it's countdown to this month's Monetary Policy Committee meeting, and then our fingers are crossed as to the final announcement of the decision which will be reached by Friday. What do you think are the agenda that would shape the discussion? Definitely, we are going to have naira devaluation come on board. The CBN has been quite careful with this term. We see this now becoming the front burner since the last move of suspending forex to BDC operators. What are your thoughts on what will make up this meeting?
Yeah, thank you for that question. I would expect that the situation with the continuous decline in the value of the naira will form the large part of the agenda in the next MPC meeting, because truly the state of the currency, is the state of the nation, because everything now revolves around the value of the currency, whether the minimum wage or the purchasing power or whatever it is, the manufacturers, people who want to pay bills, medical bills, school fees and things like that. So I expect that will form a large part of the agenda. And truly, it appears that the bank, hasn't gotten a hand on the problem that we have, because you would have expected that after the suspension of the sale of forex to bureau de change, you would have expected that things would normalize, but unfortunately, it's spiraling out of control right now. As at this morning, or as at close of business yesterday on the parallel market, the naira was trading for between 550 and 557 to a dollar. That's completely overwhelming for us and for our people, for Nigerians, because it then continues to diminish their purchasing power on a daily basis. And that also will then, affect, inflation. You then now ask, what is the point? What can people actually be able to purchase with the minimum wage, and what is the living condition right now? If we had so much numbers, that high number in poverty, and then you are having this kind of monetary issues with the naira, I expect that things, this subject, will be thoroughly dealt with at the next MPC meeting. And it's not just to sustain all the parameters, but to look inwards. I think the CBN really has, they have to look inwards and see whether these policies are actually yielding. I mean, of course, it's not yielding the desired result, but what exactly are the problems? Who are the players that are, hindering the policy, or is it that the bank itself did not evaluate the situation properly to implement the right policies? I think those are the issues that should be discussed at the next MPC meeting, and we truly want to see results.
And talking about seeing results now, some analysts think that the MPC is still going to retain the monetary policy rate at 11.5% as well as other key parameters. Do you see any shift in this position? Because as the last meeting, any loosening or tightening wouldn't have the best interest for the economy. Do you still see a retention of these figures?
It's possible that the bank retains those parameters. But, like I said, it's beyond those parameters alone, because the bank will look at, from different angles to see, okay, if we go right, what is likely to happen? I mean, it will play all of the scenarios out. If we go left, what is likely to happen? If we stay here, what is likely to happen? But like I said, I don't think it's much about those parameters. The CBN is looking everywhere, and you see, when you're looking for solutions like these to monetary problems, it's not to be, doing a try and error, model. I think you will have to, your decisions have to be evidence based.
Would you call this decision by the CBN conservative?
Apparently, I feel like perhaps maybe the bank doesn't have enough evidence to back up these policy decisions.
I asked this, Olusegun Elemo, because the last meeting, the CBN governor made mention of the fact that it has already exhausted almost all of the arsenals that there are to be able to explore. So it's almost a dead end, and then any tightening or loosening, excess liquidity isn't something we want to deal with right now. We have inflation. According to that, some of the moves that they have right now is premised on the fact that we're seeing gradual reversal of inflationary pressure and much more, which is tilted towards a gradual economic recovery away from the COVID-19. So if the governor is stating that they've already explored as much as possible the avenues to have any positive trajectory or improvement in the economy, then there's nothing much to really change at this point, don't you think?
No, I don't think so. I don't think the bank has exhausted its options. You see, when you say you have exhausted the options, based on what evidence? Based on previous evidence, based on previous assessment, you need to have, an ongoing evaluation of the situation and know exactly what the problems are. You see, you talk about the reversal of inflationary pressure, but we are waiting to see the numbers at the next MBS statistics about inflation. And then again is that, you see, we have to tie monetary policy decisions and tie it to political direction. Political direction in the sense that whether the politicians are actually aiding, inflow of investment into the country, those are things that we need to look at, because the bank can do as much as it can, like you said, but if politicians, aren't cooperating, then there will be much problem as we're facing.
Well, Olusegun Elemo, this is all the time can permit us to have on this discussion, but we keep our fingers crossed. Thank you very much for your time on the Breakfast Show this morning.
Thank you for having me.